Hey guys, Fusion Fury here. I'm making this video. I'm gonna mention before I start that I won't be able to do predictions for the last section of the qualifier where it's gonna be all the teams that are 2-2 because I could do it now, but by the time that I get this finished and uploaded, those games are already gonna be starting, and who knows if it's even worth making a separate video for it when it's just going to be over so fast. It's not like you guys would have like a night before or kind of afternoon and a night before to kind of think about it. Um, Obviously, it would, I'm going to vote for the teams that I think are going to make it into the major. So if you can kind of look at the games and go, hey, Fusion said that he thought, that these teams were going to make it into the majors, so I can predict that what he thought, who he thinks is going to make it into the major is going to be this team, um, you know, and who knows, maybe it happens that some of the teams that I predict to make it into the major don't go into the major because of the simple fact that maybe two teams that I voted to go into the major face off against each other and they're both 2-2, so one of my teams doesn't make it, that sort of thing could happen, right? So, don't count that out. But, yeah, so let's look at the matches that just ended. Because I'm sure they'll still be on the matches pages, I think, maybe. They still be on the matches pages. Or would I have to go to results? No, I gotta go to results. So, I'm going to leave the surprise for the end. Penta Vegas Squadron, our first game. I said Penta was going to take this one. It's pretty obvious that they were going to take this one. They ended up taking it 16-8. Pretty convincing match for them. They are now in the major. Congratulations to Penta. Nothing much really to say here. Penta, I think, in general, is the better team. I think something that's important to point out here is that Sunny did not have an insane performance. HS did, but still, Sunny didn't have that normal, like, super high fragging performance that he usually does, so it shows that Penta can still hold their ground even if Sunny's not fragging, as insane as he usually does. As for the Vegas Squadron, they were all kind of meh, in their kills to deaths, and but I think it was pretty clear that Penta was going to win that match, so not much to say there. 1-0 in predictions in favor of moi. Next game, Hellraisers Tai Lu. I said that Hellraisers would win this game, and guess what? I was correct. So now Tai Lu is out out of the major qualifier. They can no longer make it to the major on Overpass. 16-11. I'm sure Tai Lu wanted to play Hellraisers on it because the Hellraisers showed that they didn't look too prepared against Flipside. But the thing with that is that Tai Lu's not a very tactical team either. So, maybe that wasn't the smartest idea. Who knows? Looks like DD performed and Angel performed. Dead Fox played better than he usually does than he has normally done this tournament, which is a good sign. We'll see if Hellraisers can pull it out into the teams that are 2-2 and pull out a win and make it into the major. So that makes me 2-0 in favor of moi. Dignitas versus Renegades. Somebody put in the comment section of my last video saying that they thought Renegades would win, which I think is a pretty fair assessment. I think that Renegades could have won this game. I definitely didn't have Renegades out for the count on this match, but I did think Dignitas overall was more experienced in terms of their roster actually has been together for a little bit longer than a lot of people know, since the beginning of Pro League. So that's something to take into consideration. So it's not like Dignitas was just formed and then like they were just formed right before the minor or anything like that. They definitely had some experience together as a team. It's not like they're new. They're probably just as new, if not a little bit more older of a team in terms of when they were formed compared to Renegades' new roster, right? Renegades' new roster was formed, I think, even like closer to today than Dignitas's was. They're a newer team compared to Dignitas, even though Dignitas is still a new team. But I think Dignitas's players showed that they had the experience. The person in the comment section argued that Renegades has more experience than Dignitas. Doesn't have that much experience since the minor was their first LAN, which is understandable. But I wasn't meaning that Dignitas as a team had more experience. I was saying that their individual players have more experience. I mean, you look at their roster. Fox has been on FaZe Clan, and he was with SK at the E-League Major when they went to the semis. Rubino was with North for a while and performed very well. Jacob was on FaZe. Tensky has been on the old Dignitas lineup. And then Croman is the really only new player to their team that hasn't really had that experience, but he's shown that he's a very good player, although he did not perform in this match. As for Renegades, JKS obviously had a great game. I feel really bad for JKS. He honestly had an amazing tournament, and they just still didn't end up making it, which is kind of, disappointing to see. Nexa showed up, Nifty really not performing, which is probably what they would have needed in order to make this game against Dignitas work out in their favor. But I predicted correctly. I said Dignitas would win, and they did. So that makes my record 3-0. Right, Penta Vega, this, and then Dignitas. Yep, 3-0, and then Immortals Godsent. I said Immortals would win this game, and they narrowly did. Okay, now I'm pretty sure this means that Godsent is out. I think I'm correct in saying that. Is Godsent now out? I'm trying to think of the teams they lost to. I think they lost to maybe Flipside. Did they lose the Flipside in Cloud9? And now Immortals? I'm not sure. But I think Godsent is out. Let me think. That has Immortals lost 2 games. They lost against Big and they lost against G2. Yes. So yes, Godsent is now out of the tournament. Immortals hanging on by a thread. I think Immortals still has kind of a chance to make it into this major, but I do not predict them making it. I predict them losing this last match. I don't know who it'll be against. I'll go over them and I may make some predictions and see if maybe my teams that I picked to move on will have a chance at moving on. I will look at it, but there is a chance that it may not happen based off of the teams that they faced prior and all that. But we'll figure it out. BS, I was correct in that, so then you can see 4-0, an insane record for me so far. Cloud9 Flipside, I said this was going to be a close game, and I don't regret saying that it should have been a close game, because it should have been. But Cloud9 with a dominant performance over Flipside, and I think a big reason to it is that C9 was able to go to Mirage, and I think that Mirage is a super, if you're mad fragging, you're gonna, and you make aggressive plays that work out. I think it's a really easy map to take, especially if Flipside doesn't really show up in terms of fragging, and they didn't. Electronic was this is one of the first games where he hasn't actually fragged. World Edit kind of, tried, I guess. I don't know. But nobody really stepped up in a huge way for Flipside in order to really take the game. Compared to the other side where Automatic was going insane. Stibby had some good plays. Shroud and Nothing kind of being the stable players that I said they needed to be. Skadoodle not really doing too much, but again, it was a 16-3, so who really cares? So that makes me, I think, 5-0. And then the last game, or no, not last game. Yeah, last game. Liquid Big. This is probably the one game that I thought definitely could have messed up my predictions, but I ended up being right, and Big stepped up. And the game just ended. Got B going actually insane, 23-14, which is kind of crazy. He's gone off in in both the last 2 games, which is not something you normally see from Gabi, but he performed. Keeve performed. Tabson didn't really perform too well, which I think this is a great sign for Big. If Big can take Liquid down 16-10 on a map like Train, especially after having a really rough start where Liquid was 5-0, and Big can end up winning the game 16-10 with Tabson not having that super insane 38 kill performance, then I think that means that it shows that Big still has the potential to be a very, very insane team that can possibly take some games off of some of the teams in the major. But they now have also qualified. Oh, I forgot to mention Cloud9 is also qualified for the major. Thank God Cloud9 qualified for the major since it's been a while. I think it's been over a year, right, since they've qualified for a major. It's been, I think, over a year. I think the last one they went to was Columbus. So I think it's been a while, but C9 finally back into the major. Hopefully they can maybe take a legend spot. That would be pretty cool. Big also making it to the major, which I think is super exciting. Liquid's gonna have to go into that 2 of 2, 2-2 matches in order to see what they can do. That makes me what 6-0, so perfect prediction for the day, or at least for the 2-1 and 1-2 games. So that's pretty crazy. Yeah. I mean, I didn't think I was gonna get those last two right, but I ended up getting them right. Some of these games that I did predict teams to win got pretty closer than I thought, but quite a few 16-14s. But in the end, I was correct. So yeah. Let me go. Do they have the matches up that are going to be happening yet? They do. Now let's see. So one of the teams that I have predicted to go into the major will not be going to the major. For a second there, I almost thought that I had a chance of it happening, but now looking at these matches, one of my teams that I predicted to make it will not make it. And unfortunately, it's one of the two teams that, if I had to choose between the three teams that were in this 2-2 kind of match, in these 2-2 record matches, I would have wanted, and I wanted one team to not make it out of the three between Hellraisers, Liquid, and Flipside. I would have said Hellraisers because it didn't look very convincing. But unfortunately, one of the teams that won't be making it is either between Liquid or Flipside, and that hurts because I think both of these teams should be in the major, and I think if Vegas Squadron or Dignitas, I don't think, if you look at all 6 of these teams, the 3 teams that should make it, that should be allowed to make it, in my opinion. Hellraisers or Immortals is a close one. I think maybe Immortals has shown a more dominant performance. And I know that goes against my... Oh my god, what the heck. And I know that goes against my prediction for who was going to make it into the major, but I also thought Hellraisers was going to come in a lot stronger for this major qualifier, and they really didn't. But I would have said Liquid and Flipside are for sure 2 out of these 6 teams definitely should be in the major. And I would have said Vegas Squadron shouldn't. And unfortunately, either Liquid or Flipside is not going to make it. And either Dignitas or Vega will. And I think that Liquid and Flipside are both better teams than Dignitas and Vega Squadron and Hellraisers and Immortals. I think Liquid and Flipside are better than every other team in these last few matches. So that's really depressing to see. Because, I mean, look, if this had been Hellraisers versus Immortals, right? And then maybe who hasn't faced each other? I don't think Flipside's faced Vega. I don't know if Liquid has faced Vega or Flipside has faced Vega. I don't know. I don't know about that. But one of the two would be facing Vega, and then the other one should face Dignitas, and I think that would have been perfect for me. But I think then every single team that I picked should win. But the world hates me, and they're going to throw that in my face, and they're going to say that one of my teams isn't going to make it, and it's going to be one of my better teams. So now into the predictions based off of these games, and it's not going to go with who I think is going to make it, because obviously one of my teams isn't, possibly even 2, because I don't think Hellraisers is going to win this match. If I'm completely honest, I think Immortals will. It really just depends. Again, it's hard to call this one, right? I mean, part of me is going, you should call for the best possible situation for who you predicted to go out, and I guess I will, just for the sake of. But I don't want to, I really don't. So I'm gonna throw some curveballs. I'm going to say Immortals is going to beat Hellraiser. I think that the Dig Vega game is just. I'm so upset that this is how it got paired up because, like. Because if I'm honest, I don't want any of those two teams to go into the major. They're not good enough. They're just not. Dignitas isn't good enough to be in the major compared to Liquid or Flipside. Neither is Vegas Squadron. I feel like Liquid and Flipside should both be getting spots into this major, and they're not. One of them can't, and it's just, it sucks. It really does suck. Alright, let me get it over it. I gotta get over it. Alright, Immortals is gonna beat HR, and I think if I had to choose between Dignitas or Vega to make it into this major, I think Dignitas will do better in the major. So I'm going to go Dignitas. And Liquid versus Flipside. Now, this is a tough one, right? Technically, both teams got smashed in their last games, except for, I mean, Liquid. I say Liquid got smashed because they had a 5-0 lead, and then they just kind of choked, and then they kind of choked their 5-0 lead. They brought it back to an 8-7 half, but still, they should have been winning by a little bit more. And then, you know, even with that 8-7 half, they only got 3 rounds after, and they really just couldn't do anything else. But you know, but Flipside really did get smacked around with only 3 rounds on the board, and I think, honest to God, Zeus is gonna have a talk with Liquid for sure, 100% gonna have a talk, and I think that Liquid is gonna do what they did the last time that Zeus gave them the talk, and they're gonna perform. I think Liquid's going to win this game. And that's kind of hard for me to say because I know Flipside is like the final boss of major qualifiers, right? And I think that if you go off of that, Flipside should win this game. I think this is probably the... I don't want to predict these games. I really don't. Like, I actually have no feeling for predicting these games. I'm so upset at the fact that they're not both making it because they should. Because they're both really good teams and they're better than every other team right now who is 2-2. And one of them can't make it, and it's just that this is the part of the system that I don't like. Because it doesn't cater to the teams that are the best. Right? It doesn't. If Vega beats Dignitas, do you realize how badly they will do in the major? They're going to get torn apart. They're not good enough. And honestly, neither is Dig. Like, I don't think Dig's going to do well if they make it to the major. Hellraisers, the last time they went to the major, did utter garbage after beating C9 to get there. They got to the major, and then they just literally, I don't even think they won a map, okay? So they played horribly. Immortals has never made it to a major, and if they did make it, I'm not even sure that they would do too well. Flipside has that experience in majors, and so does Liquid, and they're both much better teams than these other guys here. And it's going to be heartbreaking to see one of them not make it. So I'm going to go and stick with what I said in the beginning of this video, where I said I'm not going to make predictions on these last matches, simply because I just hate the system, and I don't want to make predictions that I just don't feel invested in. I just don't feel invested in any of these predictions. But I do want to make an announcement on the team situation. So I think I'm going to make the cutoff date for people messaging me to get on to the tryouts for the team. The last day you can do it is Tuesday. It will be this Tuesday, the 4th of July. After the 4th of July, Wednesday you will not be able to. The 4th of July will be the last day that you can message me about the team, because then afterwards everyone will be able to get on who is on the team, and I will rally the troops, and we'll play some Face It or ESEA depending on what you have or what you don't have. If you don't have ESEA, we'll play Face It. Maybe do like a Face It tourney or something. Although it's not going to be like, if we did a Face It tourney, I'm not going to go, hey, we did this Face It tourney, we did the best with this player on our team, and not the best meaning like we felt the best, but we got farther in the tournament with this player, so therefore I'm choosing this player. That's not what I'm going to do. what I want to do is I'm going to make sure that everyone feels like, because it's more than just getting that win. Yes, the win is important, but if the player doesn't want to learn and doesn't want to improve, or the player just doesn't communicate very much, or the player isn't cooperating well with the team, then I don't want them on the team. I want someone who's going to cooperate, who's a good rifler, maybe even an opper. I don't really care, to be honest, who ends up joining the team. We can figure out roles a little bit later once we have that confirmed fifth member, and we can kind of sit down and talk about who do we think is the best for each role. Because me personally, I don't agree with Peralta being entry frag. I really don't. And that's simply because I think that he's the guy who needs to be going in second or third and getting all the frags, because that's what he does. But that is my opinion. Peralta disagrees. He wants to be the entry. I don't know what other people think because I've never asked them before. We don't know who our opper is going to be. We don't know who the IGL is going to be. This is all kind of stuff that we're going to make up once we have that confirmed fifth person that we want to play with, and then we sit down and we go, hey, this is what our roles should be. Then we'll talk about team names. Then we'll talk about logos and stuff, which I'll probably end up making for us since I'm sure nobody else wants to, and honest to God, I kind of want to make some of these logos. I don't have Photoshop or anything, but, you know, I made Omicron. I made that logo, and that logo looked pretty okay. I made my logo for myself for, oh my god, what was it? What did I do? I made it for a presentation. Let me see if I can find it. Actually, it'd probably be in the C's. Can't seem to find it. It's the floor plan. God, where is it, bro? What is original? There's like nothing in it. Whatever. Is it Spanish? Is it in here? I don't even know. But it's the logo that I made. It's on my Discord. Where did I find it, man? I got it from my phone. Anyways, it is this little logo right here. I'm trying to make it bigger, but I can't. But anyways, I made that myself. So I think I'm capable of making a logo. But that's not the biggest issue, okay? So again, 4th of July, last day to ask messages. If you don't want to join the team, don't message me. Don't make this a joke. I'm tired of people's crap, okay? I've dealt with that shit. Okay, I wasn't fully confident when Dan said, hey, we should all make a summer, a team with all of us, all of our friends and stuff. We should make a team, because I had already tried and done it before, and everyone had just ditched me, okay? So going into this, I wasn't too confident, but people are showing promise, and people are showing that they want to be committed to a team, so I'm doing it, okay? So I'm doing it. And if it doesn't work again, I'm not doing it again, unless somebody else takes initiative, because I don't want to be that guy who's doing everything, and then it just falls apart. So if you don't want to join the team, don't message me. It's not a joke to me. I take it seriously. So be serious with me, because this isn't a joke. Not for me, it isn't. I want to... Siri, shut up. Like, this is important. To me, it is. I want to be able to play ESCA with the team, or even if we can't, then face it with the team and go into some tournaments or do something, because every time that I'm on a team, nothing works. And if this doesn't work, I'm just going to go on Reddit and find another team that I can join. So, kind of like what Peralta did, because, it worked out pretty damn well for him. So I figure I may as well try. So yeah. If you've already messaged as a joke, I'm still going to message you back at the end of Tuesday and ask, hey, would you like to try out for the team? Okay? You say yes or no back. If it's a joke, you say no. If you joke and say yes, you're trying out for the team. And you're showing up on the day that we ask you to show up, and you're going to play Face It if you don't have ESEA, and because let's face it, if you're joking around, you probably don't have ESEA, okay? And we'll play a Face It tourney, and you're going to have to do it because you said that you would try out for the team. All right? And that's that. That is final. I don't care what anyone has to say about that. That's final. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest because I swear to God, I saw a message. I've seen some messages that I thought somebody was just joking around with me, and it just... I'm not in a joking mood when it comes to this. Okay, I take this seriously. I wouldn't DM for 2 hours if I didn't take it seriously. I don't want to be stuck at my MM rank forever. I don't want to be stuck on my ESEA rank forever. I don't want to be stuck never playing any tournaments. Because you know what? When I play with people that know what they're doing, and we play 5v5s, and it's that super competitive environment where everyone wants to win super badly, and you're playing out, and you're trying to play your best, and everyone's trying to make plays, and it's just that super competitive environment, I love it. I love it more than when we joke around on MM. Honestly, I do. If I could play every game like that, I would. But unfortunately, I don't have the friends around me that do that. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my predictions and analysis. I'll be doing it for the major. I don't know that I'll be doing the whole sticker thing because it just costs a lot of money, and I don't know that I have the kind of money that I just want to take out of my account and put it on here and then just kind of use it for this. Although, I do think that I would do pretty well in those little predictions, Who knows, maybe I'll do, you know what Thorn does, where he does like the little fantasy thing? Maybe I'll do fantasy. I don't know if it costs any money. Hopefully, I'll maybe find one that doesn't, and I'll try it out and see how it goes, because I think that would be pretty cool to do. But yeah, I'll be doing this for the major as well, so stay tuned for that. I don't know that I'll do it for Cologne. Cologne isn't a major, so I don't really feel like investing the time into doing it, especially since a lot of teams are using it as practice that are going into the major. Anyways, hope you all have a great day. Hope you all like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, ask me. Any predictions about these final matches, you can put your predictions down below. You can talk about the qualifier, talk about the teams that are in, do whatever you want, man, honestly, just remember that I'm taking this seriously. Remember that I really do care about my team, and that I want to go far in Counter-Strike. I don't want to be some nobody. I want to be a somebody. Take care, everyone. Thank you for tuning into my predictions. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate all the people messaging and commenting and showing support. I haven't made many videos. A lot of my videos were montages, and it felt pretty good to do some pro Counter-Strike stuff. If you like this and you want more, let me know in the comments. Take care, everyone.